The Tale of Kuddàla. This narrative was recounted by the Buddha at Jetavana, inspired by the remarkable transformation of Venerable Cittahattha Sariputta, who triumphed over the tempestuous currents of his mind. Initially, Cittahattha joined the Buddha's Sangha not out of a genuine yearning for enlightenment but drawn by the prospect of material comfort. Born into abject poverty, he labored tirelessly to sustain his meager existence. One day, he observed devotees offering an abundance of exquisite food and drink to the monks. Entranced by this display, he renounced his lay life, lured by the promise of similar offerings. However, the rigors of monastic discipline soon proved insurmountable. After 3 months, he abandoned monkhood, only to repeat this cycle of ordination and disrobing 6 more times. On his 7th attempt, Cittahattha resolved with unyielding determination to attain enlightenment. This time, he directed all his energy toward intense Dharma practice, striving to overcome the defilements of desire, anger, and delusion. His perseverance bore fruit, and he ultimately attained Arahatship, achieving complete liberation. Cittahattha's profound transformation reverberated throughout the monastic community, becoming a subject of frequent discussion among the monks. When the Buddha learned of their conversations, he remarked, "When the mind is unrestrained, beings succumb to their cravings, plunging themselves into despair. Conversely, a disciplined mind, liberated from the fetters of delusion and desire, leads to a life of unshakable joy and serenity." The Buddha then shared the following parable to illuminate his point. Long ago, during the reign of King Brahmadatta in Varanasi, the Bodhisattva was born into a destitute family. Upon reaching adulthood, his only inheritance was a humble hoe, his sole tool for survival. Each day, he toiled in the fields and gardens of others, eking out a living. Eventually, weary of his desperate existence, he resolved to abandon lay life and pursue the ascetic path. However, after 3 months of secluded forest living, he found himself unable to relinquish his attachment to the hoe. Succumbing to his craving, he returned to his previous life of hardship. This cycle repeated 5 more times, each attempt thwarted by his inability to overcome his attachment. Finally, on his 7th attempt, he stood by a river, clutching the hoe. With resolute determination, he closed his eyes and cast it into the water. A wave of profound relief and bliss washed over him, and he exclaimed with uncontainable joy, "I am victorious. No one can surpass my triumph." The king, who was bathing nearby, overheard this declaration and summoned the ascetic. "You, barbarian," he demanded, "I have just vanquished the well-fortified army of an invading nation, yet I find no such joy in my victory. Whom have you defeated to feel such elation?" The Bodhisattva replied, "O king, though you may conquer armies, you have yet to conquer your own desires. I, however, have vanquished my craving, and in doing so, I am graced with peace and serenity. True victory lies not in subjugating others but in mastering oneself." Moved by these words, the king relinquished his throne to follow the ascetic path under the Bodhisattva's guidance. Ministers, soldiers, and citizens, inspired by the king's renunciation, also chose to forsake their worldly lives to pursue spiritual liberation. Thousands joined the Bodhisattva in the Himalayas, embracing the ascetic way of life. The celestial king Sakka, perceiving the Bodhisattva's need for resources to support his growing community, commanded his divine attendants to construct thousands of cottages across the mountains for the ascetics. Once settled, the Bodhisattva imparted teachings on meditation and the cultivation of the 4 sublime states: loving-kindness, compassion, empathetic joy, and equanimity. Through unwavering dedication, his disciples attained profound meditative absorption and, upon passing, were reborn in the Brahma realm. After concluding the tale, the Buddha expounded the 4 noble truths, elucidating the path to liberation. During this profound discourse, numerous monks attained various stages of enlightenment, from stream entry to Arahatship. In conclusion, the Buddha revealed that the wise farmer in the story was none other than a past embodiment of himself, demonstrating the timeless nature of his teachings on self-mastery and liberation.